And realize that you don't have time budget.
Where'd Carl go?
Do that. The reimbursement just goes in there.
It's fun. Good evening. The East Hempfield Township Board of Supervisors meeting is called to order. Tonight's meeting has been advertised and will be held in person and online using Zoom call-in information posted on our website. The video and audio is being recorded. Robert's Rules of Order will apply. In order to offer comment, you must be a resident or business owner in the township. Comments must be about the agenda item being discussed and are limited to 3 minutes. If speaking in person, please go to the podium, identify yourself by name and address before speaking, and sign the guest log on the table. If commenting on Zoom, follow the chat procedure. We provide time for public comment on any topic towards the end of the meeting, and we will only take action on the agenda items. Please join me and rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'm looking for the agenda. Oh, yeah. Oh, you have one there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay. The first item is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda is normally made up of routine items that typically require little review, discussion, or explanation. And we're looking at to approve the agenda items A through D on the consent agenda. Any comments or corrections to the minutes on this? No? All right. Any comments from the audience? And any comments from Zoom? All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through D as presented?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Ms. Abbott and seconded by Mr. Landis. All those in favor? Aye. Say.
Aye.
And opposed? No one. Motion passes 5-0. Yeah, at the last meeting, I would say, all those in favor say aye, and then everyone would say aye, and it got a little like, which aye am I saying? So since it's the first time we're doing this, I'm just going to say all those in favor, and then please say aye or nay. Okay, a little different process, but it was a little confusing, especially with all the echoes last time. All right. The first action item is the Little Conestoga Creek Foundation. And is there a motion to authorize the township to file the U.S. Department of Transportation Build Grant application on behalf of the Little Conestoga Creek Foundation?
Mr. Chairman,
Let Jim speak.
I believe Mr. Schultz has a presentation for you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Jim, please go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Jim Schultz, and I am the project manager for the Little Blue Green Corridor Connector Project with the Steinman Foundation and the Little Conestoga Creek Foundation. It's my understanding that the chair as well as the board would like to have the brief presentation for the public about the project and its current status. And I'd like to introduce Emily Landis to make that presentation.
Thank you.
My name is Emily Landis, and I'm the Director of Education and Environmental Strategy with the Little Conestoga Creek Foundation. Okay. Got it. See if I can master technology here.
Yes. And while they're setting up, if I may, give a preview, since we have 3 new board members and there's a lot of topics that, the best way to present the information to new board members is to have a public meeting. So we're at the first meeting of each month, with this exception, we're going to have like a guest come in to kind of bring all the new board members up to date. So this was a good opportunity for the Blue-Green Connector to bring all the new board people up to date. And hopefully it'll generate interest in the community to attend these type of things to learn more.
So I can give you an overview of this project. The Blue-Green Connector, if you advance to the next slide. This project began about 7 years ago, and it was sparked by the sale of the Conestoga House along Marietta Avenue and right next to the Little Conestoga Creek. Next slide. And it has since grown in the last 7 years to become a very ambitious project that's involved a large-scale waterway restoration, a 3.5-mile ADA accessible trail system, a research partnership with Franklin and Marshall, and a plan for extensive education and arts amenities along the trail. So you can see here a growing circle of private and public funders and design and research partners. Next slide. The mission of the Blue-Green Connector is to create a vibrant greenway sanctuary in the heart of Lancaster County by restoring part of the Little Conestoga Creek. We intend to serve as a model for collaborative efforts to improve water quality, restore ecosystems, and provide educational and recreational opportunity. Next slide. And our vision is to create this accessible trail system for residents of all ages and abilities to connect with nature, deepen their understanding of the environment, and attain well-being. So this project seeks to address a problem in Lancaster, and that is that more than half of our 1,400 miles of waterways are impaired, and our waterways are unsafe for drinking, recreation, and aquatic life. The Little Conestoga Creek is one of the most polluted waterways in Lancaster, and we'd like to change this. So we will transform this impaired stream into a thriving greenway, an ADA accessible trail system. And the location in the heart of Lancaster will connect thousands of people to this restored nature and provide education, connection to healthcare, commerce, and more. Here's a map of the Blue-Green Connector. This map shows the 6 main sites of environmental restoration along the Little Conestoga Creek. Half of them are completed, half yet to go in the next 2 years. And the red line indicates the future ADA accessible trail system. There will be 3 primary trailheads, one at the south along Marietta Avenue, one at the west at Knoll Dorwart Park, which has recently been renovated and expanded, and then one on the campus of Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health along Good Drive. The trail will connect to a variety of different destinations, Longs Park and the Crossings, the Franklin and Marshall campus, Park City Center, Woodcrest Villa, of course, Penn Medicine campus, and a whole variety of residential zones. So the trail will be fully ADA accessible and intended for both pedestrians and bicycle use. Next slide. This recaps all of those connections along the trail. So really the intention is to provide an accessible way for people to go from point A to point B. It could be recreation, it could be going shopping, It could be going to a doctor's appointment. And eventually the trail will intersect with the Lancaster Heritage Pathway and create a much larger trail network that will be within easy access of 225,000 Lancaster County residents. So we have ambitions for seeing this grow and be connected. Next slide. Here's a before and after of the restoration at Marietta Avenue. And you could see how the floodplain is opened up. We've restored the historic conditions along this site, and we've planted a wide variety of wetland plants, meadow plants, and trees, and increased flood capacity, improved water quality, and restored really a vibrant ecosystem to the area. The net effect of all of these restorations at all 6 locations will be to reduce 4 million tons of sediment from going into our waterways every year, as well as thousands of pounds of nitrogen and phosphorus, which would otherwise flow into the Chesapeake Bay. We have a partnership with Franklin and Marshall College to study the restoration, and they've turned the Blue-Green Connector into a multidisciplinary research site. They're seeking to understand the impacts of restoration, so it might prove as a model for further restoration and catalyze these sorts of activities up and down this watershed and throughout Lancaster County. And as the project has evolved, you could see this is our pyramid. We've added different layers as we've gone. We started with restoration, and then the research integration with the Franklin and Marshall team, and then the ADA trail was layered in, which will be constructed after the restoration is completed, and then education and art amenities along the trail will be incorporated. So a few highlights of those education and arts amenities. We'd like to see the trail serve as a learning lab for the public so they can walk along or bike along the trail and stop to understand more about the environment and the history of the land and the waters and what they can do to connect with nature. So we are planning a variety of educational exhibits, signage, audio guides, artworks, demonstration areas, outdoor learning spaces for K-12 and all ages, and citizen science stops to enrich the trail experience. Next slide. Here's an example of one of our clean water education amenities. This is a kiosk design at the Knoll Dorwart Trailhead that will be installed in May. And it includes some graphics on the watershed and its connection to wildlife. And there's a 3D topo map in the center where people can understand where they are within the Little Conestoga Creek watershed. Next slide. And here's an example of some of the signage that will go in from an educational perspective. Next slide. And our interpretive themes for education are science and history and making an impact. Next slide. And to close, I've given you this broad overview, but our goals, again, are to create a 3.5-mile system of trails, to do some creative placemaking through education and arts, to serve as an economic catalyst by connecting all of these places of business and healthcare and education, and to be a focus of research and best management practices for environmental restoration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Um, All right, thank you for the presentation. Are there? Oh, okay. So, Jim, are you going to proceed now?
I'm going to go to the next item on your agenda, which is the request for East Hempfield Township to be the applicant for funding from U.S. Department of Transportation.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I started appearing before the East Hempfield Board of Supervisors in 2019, the inception of this project. And I have appeared at least 7 or 8 times over the 7 years that I've been involved with the project. I want to thank you both the past board and also the current board for the help that you've given to this project over the years. Well, you just heard Emily's presentation about the Blue-Green Connector project. One of the aspects of this sort of project is that there is no one source of funding for a project like the connector. Instead, we have to cobble together various sources of state and federal funds to have enough money to complete the project. We have about 60% of the project completed and about 60% of the money raised, but we need additional funding. So that's why I'm here tonight, and that's why I've been here over the years, is trying to get state and federal funding for the project. The overall connector is a combination, as Emily mentioned, of stream restoration improvements and an ADA accessible walking trail, biking trail, roughly a 3.5-mile stretch of Little Conestoga Creek from Marietta Avenue to Swan Run in the north. The trail also encompasses Dorwood Park, which will be a primary trailhead for the trail. I'm here tonight to ask the township to be the applicant for a $6.91 million request to U.S. Department of Transportation. The U.S. DOT funds, which are from a program known as BUILD, will be used to fund the construction of a large segment of the trail, running from Marietta Avenue to Dorwood Park. The overall cost of that segment of the trail, including 2 bridges, is $10.5 million. The Little Conestoga Creek Foundation will provide $3.59 million, leaving a need for the $6.91 million. In order to apply for the U.S. DOT build funds, the foundation cannot be the applicant. We need a municipal government to be the applicant. If we are successful in getting the build funds, we will work with the township staff and your solicitor to have all the contractual arrangements in place so that the foundation would be responsible for the administration of the funds to construct the trail and the bridges. So I would respectfully request that the East Hempfield Township Board of Supervisors take the necessary public actions tonight to be the applicant for the $6.91 million in U.S. DOT build funds for the trail and the bridges for that segment of the trail of the Blue-Green Connector project. I would be more than willing to answer any questions you might have about this request.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board or comments?
Cindy and Diane, you're happy to be part of this? This
Oh,
is the-
absolutely.
Yeah.
The consultant does most of the work.
No.
I just type in a couple of extra things.
He does more than that, believe me.
Jim, I'd just like to say, appreciate all the work that the Clean Water Foundation and the Steinman Foundation do on the project. You've done a yeoman's job getting us to this point. Certainly think we'll support your efforts moving forward.
Yes, as Tom said, this feels like a real win-win for the community kind of thing because Jim had talked about getting grants. So I don't believe this has costed like the East Hempfield Township any money directly. We just sponsor the request for grants. So it's all good. Any comments from the audience? And any from Zoom? All right. Do I hear a motion to authorize the township to file the U.S. DOT build grant application on behalf of the Little Conestoga Creek Foundation?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Bennett, seconded by Mr. Tran. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And so the next item on the agenda is also with Little Conestoga Creek Foundation, the shared use path agreement. So,
Okay.
Any comments, Jim?
Yeah, the last item that we're here tonight is to request that for the Blue-Green Connector project is the PennDOT shared use agreement. A segment of the proposed trail will go under Route 30. PennDOT has agreed to this trail segment so long as East Hempfield Township agrees to sign what is known as a shared use agreement. This agreement gives East Hempfield Township the right to construct and maintain a trail beneath the Route 30 bypass overpass along the Little Conestoga Creek. This is another instance when East Hempfield Township must sign the agreement because the foundation cannot sign it. The township previously approved and signed this shared use agreement in November of last year. However, PennDOT just recently is requiring a shared use agreement be re-executed to reflect an updated PennDOT form. There are no changes from the version of the shared use agreement that the township previously signed other than that updated form. In turn, the township and the foundation have signed a sidebar agreement which makes the foundation responsible for all the township's obligations under this shared use agreement. East Hempfield Township is serving as a conduit with PennDOT and is not assuming any responsibilities under this shared use agreement. We respectfully request that this updated PennDOT shared use agreement be approved by the East Hempfield Township Board of Supervisors and be sent to PennDOT for their execution of that same agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Okay. And then Cindy, anything that we should know?
It's been reviewed by our attorney and it's good to go.
Very good. Any comments from the audience or Zoom? Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the resolution 2026-05 authorizing the chairperson to sign the shared youth path agreement between the township and PennDOT to allow the use of PennDOT right-of-way in connection with the Little Conestoga Creek Blue-Green Corridor project?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Abbott and seconded by Mr. Landis. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And then before you leave, Emily, Tom had suggested a method to put your presentation on a link from the East Hempfield Township website. Is that something that already exists or?
No,
Can we do it, I guess?
we can do it, sure.
Yeah, let's get that up on the website so anybody that wants to take another look at it and get a little bit more detailed information can do that.
I was gonna request a copy for myself, but yeah, since if it's on the website, that'd be fine.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you very much. All right. The next action item is 1503 Lidditz Road Evergreen Golf Course. And acknowledge withdrawal. Cindy, you want to explain that?
Yes, the Evergreen Golf Course has been closed for probably almost a year, maybe more. And they had submitted a subdivision plan for the property. They have since decided to withdraw that plan. So it's simply acknowledging the fact that they are withdrawing it and all review stops.
Okay. Yeah, was there a deposit that they provided that they
They
will get
deposited
refunded?
escrow, which is being returned.
Very good. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the audience or from Zoom? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to acknowledge receipt of a request from the applicant for a subdivision plan, file number 25-11-01 plan withdrawal?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bennett, second by Mr. Landis. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, motion passes 5-0. Right, the next item is Hess Auction Storage Building Final Plan 25-1402, approval of waiver modifications, final plan. Okay, Amanda?
Good evening. Amanda Groff with Harbor Engineering here on behalf of the Hess Auction Group. We're here regarding a 7.4 acre property. It's currently agricultural, and it's in the rural business district. They're looking to construct a storage building just under 10,000 square feet for the Hess Auction Group, and their property is to the north. So this would be strictly a storage building. There wouldn't be any employees, no restrooms, and no water and sewer. There is a significant amount of parking for their trailers. So again, more just storage space. They have trailers that they utilize for their auctions. And then there will be 2 paved parking spaces, one for ADA and then just an extra space as well. But like I said, there won't be any employees on this site. That's just if people need to come and go, they would have that space. The highway occupancy permit is in progress with PennDOT, and we are requesting several modifications. They were all recommended for approval at the Planning Commission meeting, and they were all supported with various conditions from the David Miller letter. Would you like me to go through all of the modifications, or are there questions about the plan before I do that?
All right, so I personally attended the planning commission, so I don't need you to go through those, but if anyone else on the board would like you to go through those. Yeah, I think it's important to recognize for the newer board members that by the time it gets to our meeting, it's gone through several steps. So like Nate Sturgis, our zoning director, has reviewed it. Like the planning commission has reviewed this, and there were quite a few questions there. The DMA has approved it. So this is more of just, if you have questions on what types of things are going to happen how, when I was new on the board, it seemed like everything was just flying through and I didn't realize all the things that had happened before to get us to this point. So I just want to make that statement that there's been a lot of review of this and the next 2 items, but of course you should ask questions. Okay. So no questions from the board. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from Zoom?
Mr. Chairman, I did miss one of the motions for the waivers. Nate, if you could help me out. I had the final plan, but I missed the motions for the waivers. I'm looking for your.
Yep, bear with me one moment here. Let me pull that up.
You'll probably find it about the same time I will. I found it actually.
So okay.
So your first motion would be a motion to recommend approval of modification waiver request 1, 3, and 5, conditioned approval of 2 and 4, and deferral of number 6 for the Hess Auction Storage Building Project, Township File 25-14.02, subject to staff and engineering comments. That would be your first motion. And the 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, and 6 refer to the comments from the David Miller Associates letter.
Okay, so on the suggested motions, there's one of them, but not all the ones you just mentioned.
I missed the one I just read. So there's 2 motions for this project. I have the final plan on your suggested motion list. What I don't have is the waivers. So again, the waiver is motion to recommend approval of modification and waiver requests 1, 3, and 5, conditional approval of 2 and 4, and deferral of 6 for the project.
Okay.
So moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, may,
That'll work.
what she said, yeah,
Second.
I can work with that.
yeah, okay. Is there a motion to, that what Cindy just commented on?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Abbott, second by Mr. Landis. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Right, and then the second item is as written.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Do I hear a motion to approve the Hess Auction Storage Building final plan, file number 25-14-02, subject to staff and engineering comments?
Aye, motion.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tran, second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And I think Ms. Groff is up for this one too, right?
I am, yes.
Okay. So next subject is Racket Club West Athletic Club.
So the next project is the Racket Club West at 200 Running Pump Road. We're here for the sketch plan and approval of modification of the preliminary plan. So this is a 6.5 acre property. Currently includes a large building on the west side of the property, as well as some outdoor tennis courts and some padel courts that are close to Running Pump Road on the eastern side there. They're looking to add a building addition in between the existing building for the indoor tennis courts and the outdoor tennis courts. That's the shaded portion in the middle of the exhibit there. They're also looking to add some parking spaces on the north side of the access drive, basically the whole way along the northern portion there. The property was rezoned back in October of last year from the low-density residential district to the enterprise district. Property does have public water and sewer, and should this be approved tonight, we would move forward with the land development plan, which will address the stormwater and the traffic. So again, tonight our request is for an approval of the modification of the preliminary plan.
Any comments from the board?
Just a quick question. The structure will be used for what purpose? Pickleball, okay.
Indoor pickleball.
I got it, okay. Thank you.
And I have some questions for Mr. Zink, and this is just background, like, because I'm interested. If you wouldn't mind, can you step up there? Yeah, so like, as as the years go on, it seems like tennis is always pretty popular, and pickleball has become more popular. Like, are you seeing a trend for like more pickleball or more tennis, or like, do you use a ratio to determine how many courts you should have and that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm a tennis player through and through. So I was born, I think, with a tennis racket in my hand. So I love tennis. Our tennis courts, thank God, are full. But in 2022, we saw pickleball coming. We currently taped down some lines and started doing pickleball. And I think it being on TV, they're putting a lot of money in pro pickleball now. It's on TV a lot. We see a ton of players playing. And what's cool about our club is that we see them play pickleball and tennis, and not just one. Sometimes they'll play both. So I don't think the trend, I don't think there's any downtrend in tennis. We actually see a big up trend in tennis, but pickleball is coming in a close second for sure.
Okay. And then the tennis courts on the far right next to is it pronounced padel?
Yeah, padel.
Okay.
Yes.
Are they still not asphalt or like hard true or something like
Yes,
that?
yes, it's American clay, which is called Hartrue.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And that popularity seems to have stayed similar over the years?
Yeah, same. Yeah. Yeah. We, in the summer, we run tournaments for juniors and we do a lot of USTA matches and the courts are heavily used.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for
Yeah.
indulging me those
Absolutely.
questions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If I'm not going to learn anything up here, I'm not. All right. All right. So do I hear a motion to approve the preliminary plan waiver for Racket Club West Athletic Club, plan file 26-01-01, subject to staff and engineering comments?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Abbott, second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Yeah.
You guys are getting my rhythm now. Thank you. I appreciate that. The next item is the shared ride operations facility. Motion to approve the preliminary plan for the shared ride operations facility.
Mr. Sturgis, if you could maybe share a little bit about that plan. There's no one here representing them.
So about the middle of last year, Brookside came in with a plan to split their warehouse project site. And the open area was for SCTA to do their ride share and parking maintenance and upkeep and for offices. Their plan shows, I believe, approximately 70 parking spaces for employees. And Diane's bringing up the plan here. And outdoor storage for their rideshare vans, and then a building for maintenance and offices. They'll have access off of Yellow Goose Road and a shared access with the Brookside warehouse to the east of that, also off of Yellow Goose Road. They're here just for a preliminary plan waiver. This is a typical request with a sketch plan. Do you have any questions?
Okay. I have a question about them, the shared ride operations facility not being here. Like, is it because it's a preliminary plan, they felt the need not to be there? I know they were here for the planning meeting.
They were told they should be here. With the preliminary plan waiver requests, it's not typical, but it's happened before. They haven't shown up and staff would present it. The expectation that once they get to a final plan is that they will be here or present, or have to wait to the next meeting.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
Just a quick question. So all of the dark gray shaded area, that will all be brand new parking is what it looks like to me. Is that correct?
It's the access drive, parking, and a building. Diane, if you can highlight it on the screen.
Sure. So the access drive is this portion of the plan here, direct off of Yellow Goose and also shared with the site next door. And then this portion is the employee, driver, mechanic, and otherwise parking. And this is the parking for the rideshare vehicles, all behind fence with gated access and adjacent to the building where they would do their maintenance work for those vehicles.
Okay.
And the rest of the gray is a warehouse and parking, right?
On the other side, yeah.
On the other side.
On
yeah.
the separate lot,
On a separate lot,
not part
yeah.
of this plan.
Yeah, at the planning meeting, we discussed this, well, they discussed it. I had a few questions for about a half hour. There's a lot to this. I mean, it's all good stuff, but it would have been interesting to have them there to do the same presentation.
And they will be back in front of you for the final plan where they can do a deep dive into what they're doing and all the particulars.
Yeah, they haven't even designed the stormwater yet at this point.
Oh, wow.
Our ordinance requires that if you want to skip the preliminary plan, which is typical at this point, that you present a sketch plan and request this waiver.
Okay, thank you. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the shared ride? Motion to approve the preliminary plan waiver for the shared ride operations facility, plan number 25-16-01, subject to staff and engineering comments.
Motion?
Motion, and is there a second?
Second.
Motion from Mr. Tran and second from Ms. Abbott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. For the reason that I just think they should be here. So, all right. But motion passes 4-1. All right, the next item is Harrisburg Pike Hemlock and Good Signal Project.
So this project is for existing traffic signals, just an upgrade of these two areas, one at Hemlock and one at Good, both on Harrisburg Pike. We do have I believe it's a Green Light Go grant for this. The Green Light Go grant is for $308,000. Your bid numbers came in lower than that. The low bidder currently is, or not currently, the low bidder is CM High at, I had it pulled up, 200. Oh, there we go. $246,700. And again, the grant was for over 300, just over 300.
Because the low bid is below the maximum amount that we have, do we have to go with the low bid, or could we say there was another bid that still is within our budget, but it's from a different
You have to go with the lowest responsible bidder.
responsible? Okay,
And then you have to decide what responsible is or unresponsible is.
sure. Okay,
You're basically low bidder.
okay.
And in
You
this,
could choose to not do the project if your bids came in higher than what your grant was for.
Okay.
And possibly rebid.
and in this case, CM High is the contractor that manages all of our traffic lights. So it is helpful to us that the contractor that is already familiar with all of our systems is the contractor doing the project.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we have a high level of confidence with CM High.
And the signal upgrade, so there's a light there now. What's the upgrade? I'm sorry if you said this. I was thinking it's
I
4
didn't
things.
in any specificity. It's radar versus the loop detectors are going in. I believe there's some work on the heads that's going to be happening. Nothing on the timing, nothing on anything physical on the roadway. It's all to do with the lights,
Okay, and you,
the controllers as well.
okay.
Work on the
And you
controllers.
mentioned not the timing, but will it help with the gentleman who said he sits on Harrisburg Pike to make a left on?
You mean my husband? 'Cause he hates that light.
No, it will
No,
not.
it won't help that. Okay. There was some discussion last year that it might, like, because it's loop versus radar versus loop, but
It might, but the amount of time that he's there, it's not significant, so maybe he'll make him feel better. I don't know.
yeah, all right. All right. Any additional comments from the board? Anything from the audience? Anything from Zoom? No. All right. Do I hear a motion to accept the engineer's recommendation to award the contract to the lowest bidder, CM High, with a base bid of $246,700?
So moved.
And
I'll take
second. All right, motion by Mr. Landis, second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, the next item is the committee group assignments, and that doesn't require a motion. At our last meeting, we had discussed that there would, we have the 8 committees on our board, and the agenda shows the assignments. The next item is the 2026 goals. And I'd like to have a discussion about that with the board. My thought is we have 3 new board members, and a lot of the people that are assigned to committees are new. So it's hard to establish goals right off the bat. So I was thinking of delaying that until April 1st. Not that we're goalless. We'll just continue on the previous year's goals and continue to do the day-to-day work that we do. Is there any comments on that or other ways to address the goals?
I think that's good. I'm ready to review finance and Parks and Recreation. I think the couple of changes that we want to make are pretty simple. We're not reinventing the wheel, but so if you'd like, I can do that and get them to you.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking too of, as I read through the goals and I looked at some of the history, a lot of the goals are the same over the past 10 years. And to some degree, they seemed a little bit like job descriptions, but not necessarily goals that we follow up on at the end of the year and discuss. Tom, I'm on both of those committees with you, so I'll talk to you
We'll talk
offline about that. But yeah, if other people agree, I think more of the SMART goals, the specific, measurable, attainable, time-based goals might be appropriate, and then something we would talk about throughout the year occasionally, as opposed to more like the job description type goals. Yeah, but that's something within your subcommittees you can decide. But yeah, feel free to change like the way goals are written to, if we want to approach it a different way. Any comments or?
Yeah, no, I agree. Just looking at, for example, the Public Safety Committee, those are very broad. There's no time frame to the goal. It's not measurable or anything. I think it's all important. They are all important points, but I agree. It reads more like a job description than like a specific goal. I would love to see how maybe some of these goals would interface with a larger overarching framework like Places 2040 or something like that.
Okay, so Cindy, based on what we just said, does that require a motion to delay goals or just put it on the agenda
On the
later
agenda.
on?
When you
Okay.
eventually adopt, then they need to
Okay.
be motioned.
All right. We can move on to the next agenda item. At our previous meeting, we had mentioned that the PSATs 2026 voting and alternate delegates would be decided tonight. And I think Mr. Tran has volunteered to be our voting delegate to PSATs.
I motion that.
Okay, and I'm willing to be the alternate. So do I hear a motion to, unless someone, and it seemed like at the last meeting, it was, people seemed okay with that. Okay. So do I hear a motion to appoint Alex Tran as the voting delegate and Robert Johnson as the alternate voting delegate for the 2026 PSATS conference?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion moved, motion made by Ms. Abbott and seconded by Mr. Landis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries 5-0. All right. The next subject is the 250th anniversary. And how we are going to recognize that at East Hempfield Township. So I wrote a few points here. Let me get a drink of water here. All right. July 4th, 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence signing. The East Hempfield Board of Supervisors assigned the task of how to celebrate it to the Parks and Rec Committee that Tom Bennett and I are on. Last summer, we solicited ideas and volunteers from the community on how to celebrate, and we received about 6 replies with some excellent ideas. We had a meeting in the fall with a few people from the community to discuss it further. And knowing that the Board of Supervisors membership would be changing in January and how time-consuming it would be to manage a one-time event, we held off on any decisions at that time. In the meantime, we discovered that Pennsylvania has put together a team that has been planning celebration events throughout the state, and during this upcoming year, it's named America 250 PA. And the planning for this started in 2019, actually 2018. So my opinion is that the East Hempfield Township should operate under the umbrella of America 250 PA instead of reinventing the wheel and putting together our own committee and our own events. And firstly, America 250 PA has proposed that townships like us approve a resolution that states that we support the project. And PSATS encourages townships to do this, and I'd like to discuss that topic tonight. And if we did that, then when community members become interested in activities like the tree planting on March 28th that's going to occur in the blue-green connector, there were people who expressed interest in planting trees. So we could recommend that they work with America 250, and in this case, the blue-green connector, to do that type of work and those type of activities. And one more point, our Parks and Rec team discussed having an event this summer or early fall to celebrate East Hempfield's contributions to our nation's history. So that would be a separate event, but under the umbrella of America 250 PA, so they would be advertising it and things like that. And so I suggest the Parks and Rec Committee continue down that path with a one-time event, further defining what that event will be as the months continue. So I'd like to open that up for discussion, and then we can decide whether we want to do the, I'd given you each a America 250 PA brochure that, all right, so last Saturday was an event in Lancaster that I attended. It was about 40 people there, but it was the state kickoff for America 250 PA. Josh Parsons is the representative to Lancaster County, so he did most of the presentation, and there are a couple other people presenting. So it's, it's a bipartisan group. It has people, both Democrats and Republicans throughout the state that are very active in this, and it just seems like a great program that, like, I'd be proud to be part of. So just want to open it up to everyone else's opinion on this subject.
Well, I think this will be a great first step in terms of sort of getting the ball rolling. It'll also give us some, hopefully give us some ideas when we sign on to this program that we can use here in East Hempfield. I mean, I think we have some ideas about what we would like to do. Some of the ideas so far have been reasonable, and I think we can accomplish them. There's some that are a bit more challenging given the scope. But I think it's a good first step. I think a resolution is a good place to start. Resolution only is saying what we would like to do. It's not binding on anyone, but certainly it's something that I think we can and should support.
Okay. Diane, do you have the ability to bring up the resolution, or it's not part of?
It's here.
Yeah, we have it, but the audience.
I got you.
Oh, okay. If it's possible. Anything else from the board? I know we haven't talked about this before because, we can't talk about it before. So I know we're kind of throwing things at you here, but
What does engaging with the program do? Like, does it inform us or the Parks and Rec Board on what to plan, or did they help? Do they help with that, or?
well,
More?
the one thing it does, this is pretty minor, but they have prizes at PSATs where they're given, money funding for your internal events if you're under this umbrella. That's a minor thing. But it shows that we are part of and participating in the programs that they're offering. So I think what it does for Tom and I and the staff is when people come in would like to, where they have good ideas that they'd like to volunteer for certain things, the website for America 250 PA has the ability to volunteer. So it kind of takes the burden off of us to plan everything.
Right.
And there's plenty of opportunities there in every county to do that. So yeah, I think it allows us to say, I don't want to put it this way, it allows us to say like that we are cooperating, interested, and in doing, commemorating this very important event without bringing on a whole lot of burden to ourselves is how I see it. Okay. Yeah. Any comments? Any comments from the audience? All right. Any comments from Zoom?
No.
All right. Do I hear a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-06 endorsing America 250 PA and its mission to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate the rich history and diversity of the state?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bennett, second by Mr. Tran. All those in favor? Aye. And I wanted to mention too, when you go on the website, it lists the townships in Lancaster County and all the counties that have supported this. And it is over, well, I think there was 13. I don't know how many townships there are, but there was 13 or so townships that were have already expressed support for this. So just so you know, we're not like the lone township doing this. Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's the last action item. Is there any old business? Okay. Is there any new business? Okay. The Traffic Commission report, I know there was not a meeting. Is there, should there be a report or no?
No, that's it.
Okay. And now's the opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay, yes. Mr. Spellman?
Good evening. My name is Carl Spellman. I live at 1416 Pennscott Drive in Landisville. Like to make a statement. On June 19th, 2024, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution stating that East Hempfield is a non-sanctuary city. I think this resolution should be looked at again. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, has engaged in violence in Minnesota and other U.S. states. An ICE officer killed Renee Good in Minneapolis, and no action was taken related to this officer. Given these disturbing events, I ask the board to consider revoking the resolution for the non-sanctuary city at a future board meeting. And I would ask if you would consider adding such a revocation to a future agenda. And I think the community would support such a move. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, my comment on that is the resolution that occurred a year and a half ago was taken, was a 3-2 vote, and I voted against it. But it's a historical document that at that moment in time, the board felt that that was what they wanted to express, but no policies were changed as a result. So well, first of all, I know we don't need to address this right now, but as I've been thinking about this myself, and at that time I had thought, well, it's divisive to the community to bring this up, and it's not changing a policy. Why are we discussing it? And that's my current feeling too. It's like this is, even if we revoked it, which you can't really revoke history, right? That's what happened. We could create a new statement, but again, I think it's going to be divisive to the community. And so my gut feel without thinking about it or just hearing about it now is I would prefer to not address it until something happens, until a policy needs to change if that happens. Okay, anyone else from the board want to say anything? Or?
The only other thing I would say is that in the resolution, there is no mention of sanctuary city or non-sanctuary city in the resolution. So
The minutes refer to a non-sanctuary city.
well, that's not the resolution. There's nothing in the resolution, sanctuary or non-sanctuary, we did not make, with the approval of that, we did not make East Hempfield a non-sanctuary city.
But it was a non-issue, I feel, because we were never designated a sanctuary city.
Right,
So to come out and say we're a non-sanctuary city seems to be a little bit of nonsense.
well,
And I just want to look at the events that have occurred since then. It sort of encouraged, it was sort of a statement that ICE would be welcome in our township to look for undocumented immigrants. It sort of implied that to me. And what I see ICE doing is very troublesome, very troublesome. And I think that resolution did invite ICE into our township, but it's implied to me. And that's why I think it would send a message if it was revoked. It would send a message that ICE actions trouble us. I'm not asking you to make a statement about ICE, but I think there was political pressure, I believe, from the commissioners. Well, I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
But I just think it was, given the recent events, we could send a message by revoking that resolution. And, you know, we make new history by revoking it.
Can I say, so at the time, I actually spoke at one of the meetings against the resolution when you guys were discussing it, when the past board was discussing it. And since it was sort of a declaration of the feeling of the board at the time, the feelings of this board may be different, especially considering things that have happened this year. So maybe for tonight, we can agree to review the resolution and then further discuss what we want to do about it. Is the resolution somewhere for us to read?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can send it to you. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we've talked about it enough tonight, you know, because it's public comment and, you know, that's
Okay.
supposed to be limited, and we can, at the next board meeting, discuss whether whether we want it to be an agenda item.
Okay.
We'll discuss it. Go ahead.
Right, during the interim, is there a way to make that resolution public? There seems to be a little discrepancy between the recollection of the board and the understanding of a resident. Is there a way we could make it public to try to, during the interim?
I think the board needs to take a look at it and determine the course of action that they would like to do. The document is public. They can come in and review it, get a copy of it. But to make it public, you're making a statement in itself. So I think the board needs to look at it, decide how they want to move forward.
All right, so should we make an agenda item for next time, or
That's up to the board.
do we? Yeah, okay, so how about,
You don't have to make that decision now. You can add it as the chair to the agenda at a later time.
yeah, okay, but we can't discuss it publicly. But for now, yeah, let's just leave it as is, and then we'll find a way to discuss it next time to see what we want to do next.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Ben? All right, managers report, please.
So Derry Road Bridge, we're still moving forward. The project has slowed down, of course, because of the weather. The Church Street Bridge, we were waiting for a word from the grant for the CFA MTF. We did not get that grant. That was $3 million. So we do have a CFA PennDOT grant that we're going to go after. Same process, same base grant information. So it's just a different source. So we're going to keep trying. Nodora Park, the tree planting on March the 28th. Still waiting on the NDPS permit for Indian Springs Park. As soon as that happens, we can then move forward with the ball fields. The appeal filed with regarding the Dorcia Road driveway is scheduled for your next meeting on February 4th. Likely you're going to have a briefing by the attorney because of the newness of the board members to get you fully ready for that hearing, which is what's going to occur. We did have staff had a meeting with PennDOT regarding their safety and mobility project that they're going to be doing on Route 741. They're going to do resurfacing from Charlestown Road to McGovernville. And in the process of doing that, they want to look at safety and mobility issues in the corridor. They've got $4 to $8 million to spend, $4 million on paving, and maybe another $4 million to do some of the project. So they're going to do a study and see what is most viable and most productive to handle that process. Hempfield School District renovation project, staff met with the powers that be at the school district. We're working with the school. They have a March 1st deadline and a very tight timeline, which is going to be very difficult for them to meet. We haven't heard anything more from them, but they are working internally on their side to see if that needs to be modified based on what they have to do for the township. The Amos Hearn Foundation house, which the township owns, the boiler didn't blow up, but does have a crack in it. So the cost to repair that is between $15,000 and $24,000. And it's a 2 to 3 week lead time. Now, there's no concern about freezing pipes because the system has been drained, but I need to talk to the foundation to see how the township can help, because we have typically helped in those situations. I'm thinking maybe we give them the $10,000 towards the project and maybe then cover the rest of it because they don't have significant funds, or some sort of scenario in between that way. Our facilities manager that takes care of the house for us is leaning towards the lesser amount because it is a house that's really not occupied. So we could probably just get away with the 15,000, the lower number.
Excuse me, Cindy. So they have some funds for this?
Some not budgeted for it. They're in the same situation we are. It's a surprise. So I have to talk to them and see if they have any funds to put towards it. They certainly have something balances in their accounts. The last time it had a problem, we did help share the cost in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how we did that. If it was 50-50 or what it was. But we do have budgeted 10,000 as a donation for them for the year that we could give them towards it.
Early. You're saying, like, instead of giving it to them in October, we could give it to them sooner?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
We did have a meeting with our engineering firm regarding the Nisley Road Basin. You noticed that is holding water. It should not be holding water. So we need to get that dewatered, and then we need to figure out why it's not draining. So they are going to figure out how to get that done so that we can get it drained, figure out the problem, and then close out that grant. Harrisburg Pike Drainage Project. We own property that parallels Harrisburg Pike. How would you describe where that is? It's just past, I think it's Vine Alley. Is it Vine? Just past the hospital. There's a bridge.
On Harrisburg Pike?
On Harrisburg Pike. It's parallel to Harrisburg Pike. Keener Landscaping. That helps. Across the street from Penn State, almost.
Yeah.
Behind Keener Landscaping,
Mhm.
there's a ditch. That's owned by the township, fee simple. Maybe 2 years ago, we cleaned it out of trees because everything was falling into it, because it's literally a ditch that water gushes through it and then goes under Harrisburg Pike and out into the field. So that was done. And then our engineers designed a system that would slow down the water because it's coming off the hill, the Centerville Hill, in the back of all those houses, coming down, making almost a 90-degree turn, running down that Harrisburg Pike ditch, and then another 90 to get to Harrisburg, across Harrisburg Pike into the field. So the project is creating some sort of weirs and control system on that 90-degree angle to slow down the water so that the sediment and debris doesn't all wash away. We've been looking for a grant for about 2-3 years. We've now been fortunate enough, and when we look for grants, we go out to the legislature and say, hey, we're looking for money. Can you support our search? And then they send to the grant people and say, yes, we would love to have that done. Occasionally, at the end of the year, the budget has money left over. And Senator Malone has informed us that he has $412,000 and some change towards this project, which is left over 2025 funds. We probably would unlikely get funding for this anywhere else because we have tried and there's still grants out there that we're still waiting to hear. but it's not the kind of grant that they are too attracted to. So the fact that he found this money and has graciously given to us, along with, I'm sure, Representative Miller, is great. And we've gotten a couple of these before, very few strings attached to it. We just kind of can do the project, and it might cost us another 100,000. The original project, we had figured it was going to be another 85 matching money if we did get a grant. I think the last time we got estimates was in 2024. That number was 85,000 match. It's probably in 100,000 now, I would guess, but I'm not sure. But the 412 would definitely put a dent in the project. And I wanted to let you know, he has confirmed it in an email. I don't have the details or the particulars yet of how we're going to get the grant. If it's anything like before, it's simply filling out a very simple form. It gets into our hands, and then we do the project. The last one we got was for Route 72 in Lidditz Road. That was 175,000. So great news that we can get this project done.
But just to clarify, it follows this tree line that you see that makes the hard left and then the hard right, and then travels under Harrisburg Pike out to the Swart Run.
For many, many years, no one realized that the township owned that parallel ditch. And so we do.
And who does the work? Who would do? Yeah. Who
We'd
does
have to
the-
bid it.
Oh,
It would be
okay.
a bid project. Yeah. To clean out the ditch and get rid of the trees that were in it, that was a contractor we used. It was under the bid requirements.
Okay. And it's very hilly there, right?
It goes up the hill. Yes, that's
Yeah.
where the project would be happening.
Great news.
Yes,
Yeah.
great news. The engineer's excited because she didn't think we were going to get any funding for any of this project, because it's just kind of out there to fit into anything.
The DMA
Yes.
engineer. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The water runs across Harrisburg Pike. Is that the problem? That's the problem that we're solving? Is that?
The problem we're solving is the velocity of water flowing into that ditch,
Okay.
because it's going to then get all sorts of trees, debris, any stones we put in, everything washes through there.
Gotcha.
So if we can build some sort of, there's a name for it, I don't know what it is. Nate, you probably know what it is called. It's some sort of weir, something we have to clean out occasionally. But that will stop the debris and the sediment from getting into the ditch and filling that up and causing erosion there.
Gotcha.
And that eventually then goes to the bridge, which then gets clogged.
Okay.
And that causes all kinds of havoc.
Been a while since I looked at the design, but I believe it's weirs and Gadian baskets, which is
Yes.
Yep.
Baskets of stone,
Big
basically.
help. Yeah, of course, those.
Yeah, I know what Gabions are, though. They're baskets of stone. So good news.
Great.
We got $412,000, very few strings, and more details to follow. The only thing I also have to report is we did have a Park and Rec Committee meeting. They did have a lengthy discussion about the various parks and recreation facilities we have. Amos Herb, we talked about, HYA would like to put a temporary fence in the outfield on Amos Herb Park on the land there. So there's some discussion there about doing that. We also talked about an Elam Herb Memorial, buying a tree and a bench. And we probably want to do a motion maybe next meeting for that, to purchase that for the spring. That's probably going to cost us about $2,000 for a bench and a tree. Noldora Park, Park is going to be doing a half-day summer playground at that pavilion. So it's going to be put to good use right away. And Indian Springs, we're still waiting for the MPDS permit. But I did share with everybody the park plan document, which has the master plan for Indian Springs Park, as well as the other the master plans. And then we talked about the 250th celebration and how you wanted to handle that. I don't think I missed anything major. It's my report unless there's questions.
Any questions from the board, audience, and Zoom? Since we have completed the agenda, I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:22. Adjourned.